I have a special co-host joining me today. We're going to talk to her in depth a little while later, but I wanted to acknowledge the fact that she is in studio. Miss Asia from Kindred, the Family Soul, is my special guest co-host today. Hey, Asia.
Hey, hello.
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 Good
Happy
morning
Friday to you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much. We're going to be talking about powerful women in entertainment. You are one. We are claiming our power. Yes, you are. Don't look at me like you crazy, ma'ams. Yes.
I feel powerful.
You are powerful.
I do.
We'll talk about all of that in a minute. But we have a super special guest joining us in studio. She is an actress and an author, and she is all around fabulous. If you've ever seen the show Queen Sugar, which is all that in a bag of Chumpy's chips, and you know that on OWN, yes, Chumpy's chips for all my Philly fans, for all the folks who are from Philly and love Philly. Miss Tina Lifford is joining us in studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Tiffany, how are you?
I am
So
great.
nice to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. Trying to
I'm
hold
super
it back.
excited myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I feel all of the black girl magic is about to knock me out of my chair.
Listen, Linda, you're not listening.
It's okay. I know how to look. I know how to act. I do. I know exactly how to act.
Just don't act up.
I know
Exactly.
that's right.
My mama taught me good. I can do it.
Listen. But sometimes it's all right to act out.
Yeah. And act out.
Okay, and act out. Sometimes we have to. Let's get into this. So, Miss Lifford, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yes, we had a lovely conversation before the show started just about Hollywood and how many voices are getting out there right now. You've been in the business for a little minute, and you've seen some changes.
Yeah.
Talk about how that feels for you to see this shift from not much representation for black women, black people in general, to now so many voices are being heard.
Yeah, you know, it's exciting culturally as well as personally to be able to see the flattening of the world, which means that more and more and more we recognize that these niche markets are valuable markets, and that there are people in these markets who want to see themselves. And so the Hollywood model, the business model, is changing to make sure that people who are spending their money have representation.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, with me being on Queen Sugar, which is the brainchild of visionary Ava DuVernay, who has a personal mandate around making sure that things don't happen tomorrow the way they happened yesterday. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And I'm glad that I'm still here to be a part of it.
Let's talk about that. So many people get into the business and then jump out because it's like, okay, well, where's the work? I'm only going to wait so many tables, and I'm only going to play so many maids and so many this and so many that. What kept you hanging on?
You know, it's interesting that you say I'm only going to play so many maids, because one of my acting teachers actually said to me, you know, you'll probably only play maids. And when he said that, it never, ever felt real.
Wow.
You know? Now, that was his reality, right? But it wasn't mine. And that acting teacher was actually Hal DeWin, who was a wonderful actor and acting teacher, but he came from a different generation, and in that generation the sense of what was possible was completely different than, you know, where I came in, and certainly completely different than where we are today. And so I never bought into his reality, and I think that's important for us to recognize that, you know, there are always those people who don't buy into the reality, and you have to ask yourself which comes first: buying into the reality and experiencing the limitation, or not buying into the reality and hanging in there on your dream and letting your own personal power sort of help you experience your fulfillment.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, because really what you're saying ultimately is that there is a really fine line when you're talking about mentorship and making sure that if you're in the mentor space that you're not, you know, dumping your racial trauma all over the next, you know, the next group of people. And so, and I follow you on Instagram.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you outed yourself. Finally, you came in this room and didn't say.
And you mentor the world.
Yes.
So I love your perspective. Your perspective is really fresh, and particularly just coming from a place of experience, but also with an optimism for the future.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, thank you for acknowledging that, you know, you come to the page, because what you just said is really, it's sort of a paradigm shift. When we understand that optimism, you know, hope, a sense of excitement, those are not just nice words. They are actually some of our most important personal power tools. And if you think about it, there has not been anything that has been accomplished, no invention, no cultural transformation, no huge advancement in society that didn't have as its foundation hope and a sense of possibility. So when you think about it that way, you recognize that one of the most important things that you can do is to cultivate a very strong muscle inside of you that helps you pull yourself out of the conditioning that is survival conditioning and pull yourself into hope and possibility.
Lord,
the people who are doing things, they know this, whether they know it consciously or not. And the people who are suffering don't know this because they've decided that hope is just a dream. It is. It is. And you need to be dreaming.
Tina got to be Sunday.
Oh, I see. I see.
It's not Friday.
She's bringing it. She's bringing it this morning.
Listen, but
the collection plate is already being passed.
I already knew.
Listen, I love it. And what would you say? How would you build that muscle to keep that hope alive? How would you build that muscle, especially if you are surrounded by never mind, I can't. Who you think you are? You think you too much, all that. If you're surrounded by that, your thoughts or your ideas are too complicated. How do you build that muscle?
Great question. And this is how you do this. First off, I want you to think about what I'm going to share with you, the way you think about physical fitness, right? If, in fact, you want to achieve something physically, then you know that there are certain basic things that you have to do, and you have to do them religiously. You have to do them routinely. You have to create a regimen that works for you. So when we start to talk about shifting from survival thinking to thriving thinking, know that it's not just this one thought for one time. No, you have to start to think about practicing these ideas and concepts the way you think about exercise, so that they can move from being a simple concept or principle into a way of life, a way of being. So one of the most important things in terms of building the muscle that can move you to possibility or hope is to know that that's where you got to go. To be able to catch yourself and say, oh, no. You know, up until now, and this is a fabulous transitional phrase, it will move you. Oh, no. Up until now, this is that same negative thinking that I do. But from this point forward, that can change. And just that little, from this point forward, it can change. Then you feel a little bit of hope open up in your heart?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, didn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that little bit of hope, it makes a doorway for a whole lot more hope. So anytime you're talking, and you see yourself doing or saying something in the same old way, stop yourself and say, well, what I mean is up until now, that's how I've done it, or that's how I've thought about it. But from this point forward, it can be different. It can be better.
Creating change. If you're just tuning in, it's The Source with Tiffany Bacon, here with my very special guest, Tina Lifford. You've seen her on the show Queen Sugar. She's been on a variety of shows and films throughout the years, but she is also an author. Also joining me in studio is my special co-host for today, Miss Asia from Kindred, the family. Divas in the building. And I cannot go any further without acknowledging my producer, Miss Kayla J., also in the building, looking festive, getting ready for our event this evening, the Empowerment Experience. But Miss Lifford, you have written a book, and I've read that it's taken you a while to write this book. The book is called The Little Book of Big Lies, A Journey into Inner Fitness, and that's what you were just talking about.
That's right.
So tell us, why did it take you a while to actually put these ideas on paper?
Well, for a number of reasons. Number one, I didn't consider myself a writer. Number two, there was that negative mind chatter that was telling me I didn't know what to do, and it was right. I didn't know what to do, but you know, it would have that stop me. But I am practiced enough inside of myself that I could ignore it and still leave room for the possibility that this nudge that kept happening on the inside was really trying to lead me somewhere purposeful, right? But it took a long time because, and when I say a long time, I'm talking close to 5 years, and it is, you know, a little book. So those of you out there who, you know, want to consume something that can transform your life in, you can probably read this book over the weekend. You know, it is that accessible.
Okay.
But I wrote it, I started writing it maybe 50 times, right? I would get to the middle and I would go, this is crap. This is not any, and that's not the word I used, actually.
Thank you for the self-edit. Yes, ma'am.
My word started with an S, right? And so what was happening is that it was refining me. It kept making me go deeper into a more authentic voice. So that was one thing. The second thing was, because I hadn't done it before, and because every creative process has its own journey, it was trying to get me to catch sight of the correct format for this book. And I hadn't seen this format before, right? And how we finally landed on it was that I got so frustrated. I think it was probably in 2009. I got so frustrated that I threw my hands up and I said out loud, you know, to God, because I'm talking out loud to the universe all the time. I can't do this. I can't do it. And I actually started crying. And I'm not a person who tends to cry, right? And so I walked away from it. And I think it was within the same week, ideas for this play that had been nudging at me for 5 years, downloaded, and I was able to write the play very quickly. And I reached out to women, and I would interview them, and I would get their stories. And every woman left me with some sort of inspiration. So I would go home and I would write a monologue. Long story short, that play, I went from writing that play to producing that play to having that play being produced around the country. And the response to it was so great that I came back to the book and said, okay, so what I need to do is I need to write this book in 14 stories. Because if I write it in stories, then people will truly see themselves in the story, and each story can represent a key lesson.
Wow. All right. You just heard Tina Lifford talk about the structure of her book, A Little Book of Big Lies. We want to hear a couple of these stories without giving away too much, because we do want y'all to buy the book, that's for sure. But we are going to come back and have more conversation. If you have any questions for Miss Lifford or Miss Asia, hey, Diva. If you have any questions for our guests this morning, feel free to reach out. 215-634-8065. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Cut the check. What?
I don't
A little
know.
empowerment. Hey, watch out there now.
I don't know what it is about that tune that always, it pumps me up every time.
You start stepping high even if you're in flats.
It
What?
doesn't matter. It's like, you know, you know what I'm saying? And then like the one little muted cowbell that comes on.
Yes.
It's just like,
More cowbell. Yes. That would be me. I'd be back there with the cowbell. What?
listen.
Bink. Grooving. Bink. Yes. Gotta have a little Beyonce empowerment. That is what it's about today. We are celebrating our 3rd annual empowerment experience and holiday party tonight at the beautiful Cambria Hotel, 219 South Broad Street. New, fabulous. Come check it out. Doors open at 5 o'clock. We will kick off our empowerment experience featuring a conversation and book signing with my special guest today, Miss Tina Lifford, star of the show Queen Sugar on OWN. She plays Aunt Vi. We're going to talk about Aunt Vi and see if you can give us any secrets about the upcoming season, because, you know, y'all left us like... gripped up. Yes, love the show. Anyway, we're going to have you guys check her out. The discussion about her book, The Little Book of Big Lies, A Journey to Inner Fitness. Books will be available for purchase during the event. At 7 o'clock, we will turn up the volume for the holiday party, and it's going to be all that, I promise. So please make sure you keep listening. We have more information about the event tonight. Again, Cambria Hotel. Doors open at 5. Don't forget to come and say hi to Miss Tina Lifford. I'll be there as well, and so will the whole WURD crew.
Yes.
Yeah. So you were talking about how you broke the book up into various stories so various people can see themselves.
Yeah.
Give us an example.
I will. And so the book starts with the dedication to my brother, who died of a drug overdose 2 weeks out of rehab. And the book starts there because The Little Book of Big Lies is about the lies that crash into our lives and that we swallow. And I define a lie as any person, event, or experience that, you know, leaves us feeling less than, not good enough, distanced from ourselves, or afraid of discovering who we are and our sense of what's possible for our lives. And those lies they rob us. They rob us of, you know, life. They rob us. They make us walking dead. And so one of the lies is, I mean, in the book, it starts with going to the museum, the House of Mirrors. I was born and reared in Chicago, and there used to be a park called Riverview Park. And as a family, we would go to the park every year, and we would all go to the House of Mirrors, you know, where there are all these different mirrors. And in each mirror, you would experience yourself in a different, distorted way, right? We are experiencing ourselves in a house of mirrors every day. We are experiencing the distortion that comes from hurts, traumas, upsets, and disappointments every day. And for us to recognize that that's what's going on, you know, and literally be able to see it as simply as we imagine a House of Mirrors attraction, it really sort of sets the stage for us to say, no, I'm tired of all these trick mirrors. I want to get to the mirror where I get to see myself as I am. And that's the journey of inner fitness. The journey of inner fitness is about Being able to know when you are in a distorted mirror and take your power back from that distortion and say, no, up until now.
Up until
Yes,
now.
I know that's right.
I had thought that was me.
I know that's
thought
right.
that was me.
But no, not on today.
But today, I know that who I am is so much more than that.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
right.
See, obviously we've talked about tons of times here recently the language of words like trauma and triggers and all of this different language that might have been relegated to, like, let's say therapeutic situations has now become talk amongst most people. But still, as a community, and particularly for Black women, this conversation about how to approach and identify our own traumas is still an ongoing and very real struggle for us. So I know that your book is not particularly specifically for us, but can you discuss some ways in which they may address some things that are particularly challenging for us as Black women?
Yeah. Great question, Asia. And I'm going to say two things before I address that. Number one is that, the distortion, the confusion that is really part of the human condition is the I'm not good enough. And how much we internalize that and how much we use. So that is our propensity. That's our, we as a species, for whatever the reason, tend to go to that something's wrong and I'm not good enough place. We tend to do that. But now, when you recognize that that's already our internal surviving tendency, now you take your personal experiences and you grab all of this evidence, all of these distortions that help you to confirm that you're not good enough. So from racism to, every other ism that you can imagine, we are literally out there consciously grabbing hold of things that have been said, and we are hanging on to them and making them our distortion. And that's what we have to see. We have to see that the only way something can hurt us is if, in fact, it actually represents a place of doubt that already lives inside of us. Because if you don't already carry that doubt, and someone says something crazy to you, you say, oh, he's talking crazy. Or she's talking crazy.
And you just let it go.
And you let it go. But when we hold on to it, it's because that thing, that issue, that subject matter speaks to a place that is already part of our own self-doubt, our own question about our worth.
And we as a community have plenty of opportunities to, quote unquote, gather this evidence that we're not good enough.
Oh, my God.
These lies, this evidence, oh, well, I see it over here. This is okay. Let me can put that in my little bag and put this in my little bag and figure these things out. But I think what's really profound about what you said, and you said a bunch of profound things since we've been on the air, but
true story.
What I think is super profound about what you said is the idea that, using the mirror as the example, because I think a really physical description of what you're thinking and feeling in your mind is just an amazing way to start. I can't wait to read this book. I'm going to run through it on this weekend.
Good.
I know that's right. I know that's
Seriously.
right.
Because because I identify with that. I mean, it is the immediate go-to. The immediate go-to is I do not belong here. I do not.
I can't do this.
I can't do this.
Everybody else tells me I can't do
this.
it.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, and imagine this. Imagine if, in fact, every single time we say that, first off, let's let ourselves off the hook in this way. There is something inside of the species that drives us to think of ourselves as less than. Okay? So that's the first thing. And which means that we don't have to own that. Right? Oh, that's just my nervous system developing over 500 million years before I got a frontal lobe that tells me that I can actually see that behavior in operation. I don't have to believe that no more.
Oh, I love it. So
Okay.
we can evolve. Basically, we have the ability to, and we can say, listen, I didn't know then, and it's okay that I didn't know yesterday, but today.
But
But-
today,
But
up until now.
Up until now.
So even with that, what are your thoughts and your advice for folks who are like, I am aware, I'm aware of my shortcomings, and I am in the gym working that muscle
Yes.
to recreate myself
Yes.
into the vision that I see for
Yes.
me. But everybody else is just like, yeah, but yeah, all right, whatever. You still that, because I still see that. How do you build the muscle to blind those who are around you, who are used to you being the old person, who respond to you in that same way that you have been yesterday,
Yes.
but today
Yes.
you're somebody new?
Yes.
How do you put the blinders on so that you don't get reinfused with that negative thinking?
Yeah, that's a great question. And here's my answer. The more that one of my favorite Tina-isms is when you know yourself, you are empowered. When you accept yourself, you are invincible. So
Shut the
I will
front
run
door.
around here.
I need some shout music, Kayla.
I need to,
Ding, 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 ding. Wall shout.
come back, Asia, come back.
Okay, that's a wall shout right there. That's what that is. That's a wall shout.
She's wall shouting over there. She's wall shouting. I love it.
sorry, I had to go to my closet right quick.
I'm sorry, the music minister is at the bathroom
Do
real
it out
quick.
in the open. Do it out in the open. Hey now, yes.
She said, "Come on." She's like, "Praise him in the open, girl. Go on, do what you gotta do."
Okay.
Say it one more time for the people.
So when you know yourself, you are empowered. When you accept yourself, you are invincible.
Yes.
So, you know, we don't have to prove who we are when we know who we are. We don't have to take in those hurtful feelings when we have accepted who we are. You can't tell me nothing about myself when I already know. You know, and I accepted it. And I don't necessarily, I'm not even saying accept it in a way that makes you unaccountable. Accept it as part of your journey, right? And if in fact you are dedicated to that better iteration of yourself, then, you know, what someone says will either move you towards that better iteration because you're being accountable in a way that your soul says this thing that in front of you is worth paying attention to, or your soul says this thing in front of you is just another distortion, move on. You know, move on. And it doesn't really matter if the distortion shows up, if the mirror shows up as a parent, or as, you know, your community, or as whatever, a distortion by your loved one, your mate, you know, a distortion. What
Supervisor.
Yes, exactly
Listen.
right.
Because
That's
somebody out there
so-called
supervisor
best-
on some BS this morning.
Good morning. You probably sitting there with that mug
That's right.
of coffee.
That's right.
32
That's right.
ounces of coffee. You
That's
trying
right.
to get through your day.
That's
like,
right.
Y'all
That's right.
hold on.
That's right. And you know, when you truly make this journey about you and your mirror, you and your ability to take the distorted mirror and see the truth. When you make this life that game, then you just get to interact with how you show up when these other entities think that they are doing something, being something, saying something.
Right.
So how have you used this in your career?
Oh my God. Do you know anything about Hollywood?
I do a little bit. But in what ways has it kept you from or put you into, how has it kept you from or put you into places you needed to be, kept you from places you didn't need to be, put you into places you needed to be?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe our lives are always trying to move us to where we need to be. I believe that just is sort of an innate path. And the thing that sometimes helps us get to where we need to be is the obstacle, you know, the person in front of you, the experience in front of you that is trying to distort you. So for me, when I find myself thinking more about them and how I might have done something wrong, them and how, you know, why me, them, when I'm thinking more about them than I'm thinking about me and what I want and where I'm going, I know that I got to flip the balance, you know. I got to take it and forget about them because they're thinking and doing in ways that are aimed to keep me thinking about them.
They're doing things that are aimed at keeping you thinking about them.
And the preaching will
Hallelujah.
continue. Listen, we about to break your whole soul open in a few seconds. We have to take a break. But if you have any questions while she is still here in the building joining us on the program, feel free to give us a call. 215-634-8065. Stay with us. More conversation continues after this. It is a wonderful praise in the studio today. It is all types of healing and tears and acknowledgement and empowerment and sharing. I hope that's what you're getting on the other side of your speaker. I hope that is coming through because it is powerful in studio. You can see us. We are on camera. You can see us at
they done see me break my whole life down just then?
Right.
That's all right. I tell all my business anyway. Y'all already know.
It's all good.
Tina Lifford done, listen.
Opened it up.
She done opened me up and then gathered all the pieces back together, put a bow on it, and then got back on the air.
Yeah, that's
seriously. But that's the power of this woman who is sitting to my right. And not even just that she's powerful, but reminding us how powerful we are and how powerful the Creator is, and that we all have access to that. So that, I mean, literally, that is the kind of energy that we as and you know, I love the black people. I love the black people, particularly the ones.
I love the blacks too.
I love the blacks.
Jesus.
See? I told you to make room on your couch.
Okay.
I keep telling, look,
It's
y'all,
about to be real.
Listen, children, I'll be taking my sabbatical at Miss Tina's house. Anyway, so like I was saying, was that just the idea that we do have access to this thinking, and that part of what you're bringing with this is what I identify most, is that you're saying, listen, these are my lessons, but this is a way for you to take control and take the wheel for yourself. This is not that I'm particularly special, which you are, but it's about kind of bringing out that specialness in those who are going to read and experience what you have to say.
We all are equally special.
Yes, indeed.
And if we aren't experiencing our own specialness, then that is a profound indicator that we need to do some inner fitness work, because we all are special. And you know, I got tired of you know, going to church or going to a motivational whatever, and the people on the stage were supposed to be the most special, you know, and then I would go home thinking about them and their life. Well, wait a minute, there's something wrong with that picture. And so, you know, again, going back to the little book of Big Lies, that's part of the reason that at the back end of each story, each of those 14 stories, I give you 1, 2, 3 things that you can do so that you can take these concepts and make them your way of life. Because Tina Lifford is not special. Tina Lifford is practiced. And I practice everything that is in this book. And anyone who is succeeding in what I call success and happiness, that's what they're practicing. I don't care what they call it.
Right.
The basic concepts,
Right.
the basic principles are the very principles that when you practice them and learn to embody them, you become practiced.
I love it. I love it.
I'm trying to become practiced.
Yes, you are. And isn't it a beautiful thing?
I am. I think I'm particularly practiced, but I'm trying to get extraordinarily practiced.
Yeah.
Yes.
As am I.
Because that's where real freedom is. You know what I mean? That's what real. I lost my father, my brother, and my dog within 6 months of one another, and I did not feel attacked. I did not feel left out. I did not feel any of that because I'm practiced. Because I know when you know yourself, you're empowered.
Yeah.
When you accept yourself, you know, you begin to see how you are connected to this thing, and you stop making up stuff about who you are that ain't true.
Or allowing people to make up stuff about who you are.
Both.
And believing it.
Both.
Yeah,
And believing it.
Both.
And believing it.
You know?
Ooh, you gave us a lot of wisdom today. Much like your character. Aunt Vi spreads the wisdom and put a little salt on it, a little, little Cajun seasoning on that thing. Sometimes people don't like it.
And sometimes there's some vinegar, you know?
Sometimes.
Makes you
Straight up
pucker.
vinegar. Yes, you made a couple people pucker this season so far. Anything you can reveal to us about what we can look forward to when you guys come back on? What is it, end of January?
Oh,
February?
no. We will start shooting. You know, we all, none of us live in New Orleans.
Okay.
Well, one of us lives in New Orleans. And we fly back to New Orleans probably the end of February if things go as they have gone for the last 4 seasons. And then we shoot from the end of February to sometime in July. So, and then the show actually starts re-airing probably somewhere in May, right? So
got a while to wait.
Yes, but that's the way it's been for 4 seasons. So you should be used to it by now. Okay?
I can't get used to the breaks.
Yeah, I know.
I can't get used to it. I'm like, I want to know that.
But do you want to hear what I have to share with you about season 5?
Yes,
okay.
please.
So I was in the writer's room just this week, literally the day before I got on the plane to come here. And they are breaking stories left and right. And they tell me it's going to be better, or, you know, they are aiming for, they think that they can top season 4, which just blows my mind. That idea just blows my mind. And here's the only thing I can really tell you.
Okay.
There's going to be a season 5. That's it. That's all I can tell you.
So we just got extra happy and extra let down at the same time.
I mean, we know that it was happening, but it's just horrible.
You know what? But wait. But I got questions.
No, but it's fine. It's fine because I'm willing to wait. I personally don't like spoilers, so I'm willing to wait. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I think the subject matter is women in entertainment, so I just want to also mention the fact that record number of women directors worked on Queen Sugar last season, and when we did do our special about women, when I co-hosted here back in May, we interviewed Stacey Muhammad, and she absolutely adored working on that show. I thought it was an amazing episode, and I just think just a big salute to Ava DuVernay,
No question about it.
who has, you know, talked the talk and walked the walk about making sure that women have a front row seat, and as well as in the driver's seat for much of the production and the writing in this.
The visionary that she is undeniable. You know, and the unapologetic force of Ava DuVernay is undeniable.
I love it. I love it. We got a break. Can you stay with us or you have to go? I know you have a long, long, long day.
Well, you know, people can come out tonight, you know, over at the Cambria Hotel at 5 o'clock. We're going to be doing more of this, right? Yeah, so...
And we love it. And you'll get a chance to hear her talk about the Little Book of Big Lies, and you'll get a chance to say hello, perhaps, stand in line, be nice and kind, and meet Miss Tina Lifford. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. All right.
Thank you for letting me fangirl in the most
I love that. I love
It's
that.
transparent way that I know how to be.
I love that. And I love who all of y'all are. Really and truly, I love that this is where we're going. This is who we all are becoming. And the idea that we all are interested in a better iteration of ourselves, oh, that just lets me know that we're going to be rolling our sleeves up, taking our power back from those hurts, dramas, traumas, upsets, and disappointment, and let's just all get practiced.
Listen, my tagline for 2020 is, so what's up? What you gonna do? What's up? Let's do it. All right, stick around. Asia and I, we're going to talk a little bit more about women in entertainment and the power that we have when we come back after this.